All right, here we go. Orchestration breakdown of my latest song, Circles. It's a big old symphonic rock experience, and I just want to, before I do anything, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Trey. Trey Hodge added guitar, bass, mixed the heck out of this. He did a phenomenal job. So in the description, go follow Trey, go support his work. Cannot recommend him enough. This song, Circles, is very much about what it's like to be kind of in a cyclical experience in your mind, whether that's like anxiety or whether that's like what you see on social media, right? Kind of the back and forth bickering that just kind of goes in circles and it goes nowhere. That's what the song is really about. It's very big. It's very orchestral. It's very dense. So go check out the song if you haven't heard it in full. It's in the description. It's above my head here. And I hope you enjoy it. But for now, let's dive into some orchestration. I wanted to kick it off with some type of orchestral cyclical experience, like almost like a water wheel, right? Just kind of spinning and spinning and spinning. I used the flutes and clarinets for that. This is what it sounds like with everybody in the mix. It's just a thick string line, and the bassoon just kind of helps it cut through even more, just intensifies it. And then I just wanted a big kind of bum ba ba da before we get into what is then the rock band. So piano, guitar, bass guitar, drums, and I wanted that contrast, right? Yep. So at this point, it really becomes a conversation between rock band and orchestra. That moment there is worth talking about. There's this descending passage. What's happening here is 4 horns. Horn 1 holds a pitch over while horn 2 begins to descend. You can see there's this crossover point. It crosses over, horn 2 sustains it over, horn 3 goes down and then splits with horn 4. Horn 4 joins the party and then they create this chord right there. So what's happening though is that it's horns in unison with violin 2, viola section, cello, and eventually double bass an octave below the cello. So it creates this. What's happening is this descending, almost like a bell type tone, a bell figure, ba 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 bum, and it just descends and intensifies like so. I'll play that again. You can see it in action. Then of course the woodwinds just kind of flourish into the next phrase. Ba da ba da ba da bum bum. Woodwinds are very good at that sort of thing. Oh, then there's this fun moment. Yeah, there's this moment to kind of just help propel the music forward, to kind of help the drive, where I have the strings doing a very divided, kind of open sounding chord. Ba-dum bum ba bum. And that little moment, sort of this kind of, we're building to the chorus. You can hear the brass starting to enter in. Yeah, this moment here. Okay, this moment here. This is what I geek out about so much with orchestration. Is like, how can you accentuate something that's already happening using different accompaniment methods? So the vocal line, I see oceans, but the waters turn green. So there's this descending, if I were to highlight the core notes here, E flat, D natural, D flat, C. Woodwinds are doing that. So flutes and clarinets, an octave below. And then technically the strings as well. I'll talk about that in a second. But this is where it's about really playing into the what an orchestra can do, right? Because I could technically have the flutes and clarinets just holding those notes, but it wouldn't be very interesting, right? Like it would, yeah, I mean, it would sound good, wouldn't be bad, but what you can do is lead up to the pitches, bada 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 bum, bada 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 bum, just going up, 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 and then it comes down and they do a little trill. So it's all about, I find orchestration it's so much fun because you can just do these little things, little trills and little accents. The strings are doing this as well. So it's a little bit different than the flutes and clarinets, quite different actually, but it again, it's still outlining that vocal melody. So knowing all of that, let's listen to that first chunk of the chorus again here. We're in a classic Tony Manfredonia French horn, 2T French horn counter melody. Classic method here, but it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. French horns are very good at counter melodies like this, kind of in the middle of a larger, thicker texture. Put them all together. You got 4 of them, so put them all in unison. So again, in context, pay attention to that. When Trey and I were working on the song together, he was kind of sending me guitar lines. He did this thing where he was playing the guitar on these exact pitches. And I was like, oh man, that would sound so cool to have that accentuated with the violins. So listen to Trey's guitar here as we pick it back up. I also accented that with trombones, horns, and even a couple trumpets. Just, again, starting soft, getting louder, 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 to then a big chord, which then goes into the second verse. I wanted, again, kind of emulating those earlier string stabs, ba-dum-bum-ba-bum, bum-ba-dum-bum, that I talked about. I threw those into the brass, namely the trumpets and trombones. Brass have such energy. So behind the entirety of this chorus, where we also have the flutes kind of doing this little flourishy thing. Just again, giving it brightness, giving it color. I'm a sucker for woodwinds, I'm sorry. Oh man, this was the moment I was so excited to orchestrate. When I was writing the song and I was doing this thing on the piano, kind of this going bum, bum, this B flat to A flat thing, I was like, I want the orchestra to feel so conversational. So let's break this down. There's a lot happening in this moment. Basically what's happening is there's an arpeggiated repeated figure in the woodwinds. So kind of alternating between D natural and D flat. So basically it's like a B flat major chord, B flat minor chord, B flat major, B flat minor over A flat. So that's doubling the piano. The piano part's playing the same exact thing. Then there's these tremolo moments with strings kind of swelling in, kind of ascending upward as well. In between that, there's this bass line that literally every bass instrument's playing. Bass guitar, contrabassoon, bass clarinet, trombones, tuba, cello, double basses. So it's very conversational because then right after that, I throw in a little John Williams-esque horn and trumpets. So basically, in order of events, what's happening is accompaniment, string tremolo, bass line, brass hits, string tremolo, bass line, then we go back to just a less conversational, just kind of fuller, kind of melodic sequence. Listen to it again. I'm going to go, order of operations is accompaniment, string tremolo, bass line, brass hits, string tremolo, bass line, back to like the more accompanimental stuff. Here we go. With all of that in mind, this is what it sounds like. One more time. Welcome to my brain, my friends. In the second chorus, the strings are essentially doubling the melody, essentially as written. There's these little ornaments in there, but brass accompaniment, big old woodwinds doing their thing, the flourishes, that's all happening. Then we get the second half of the second chorus is another conversational thing again. And once again, I had way too much fun with it. Let's listen to what it sounds like. Horns and trombones, melody, bass line. Checking there's not anything else. Tremolo, bass line, and like melody. So this one's a little bit more kind of things happening simultaneously rather than back and forth. We do get a big old piccolo flourish up top though. So that one's fun. That's a fun part. Here we go. Oh man, listen to Trey's bass on that. Listen to the groove on that. Man, he rocked it.
Running in circles. Running in circles. Running in circles. Running in circles.
Yes, we have a clarinet solo in this song, and I could not be more excited about it. So here's to all the clarinetists in the world. You rock. Okay, this build up. So there's this little fast kind of conversation happening in the strings here.
Running in circles. Running in circles. Running in circles.
Strings are doing their own melody. Very string-like experience there. Brass and low woodwinds are essentially just creating a gigantic wall of harmony that has a rhythmic element to it. Yum ba 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 bum. Then woodwinds again creating drive, creating a constant cyclical yada da 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 da. And of course, at this point, this is just the moment when the lights, if this were in like a stadium concert with an orchestra, this is when the lights would be going nuts. This is just meant to be just a crazy, I had so much fun writing the bass line for this because it's this descending chromatic ya da da dun da 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 dun. It has this chromatic nature to it. Pay attention to the bass line here. There's a sneaky thing in here where half of the cellos and two bassoons in unison, so it's a dense-ish texture, are doing literally a chromatic scale. And then as it intensifies, the trombones join in for the second half. So it happens twice. There's the descending scale, and then the bassoons and cello go back up with the trombones, then to add extra density to that line. This is what it sounds like, just bassoons and cellos. And then we also get trombones in here as well. It just adds that bit of kind of like like the house falling to the ground in The Wizard of Oz, right? It just adds that kind of falling nature to it. Knowing that fact, listening in context here. basically when you get to the end of this, you're like, oh, a breather, right? That was my goal. That was my intention, because from the very beginning, it's just building to this moment, right? You have all the crazy conversation in the orchestra taking place. Then when you get here, I wanted to maintain that cyclical nature, but in a way that's a bit more harmonious, a bit more lush, I suppose. So what I've done is I've essentially just created a nonstop movement. So it's not just stagnant chords here. It's a constant conversation within all the string parts. Ba-da-ba-bum. There's a constant movement, constant stuff taking place. And of course, repeat to fade out. So again, the idea of a circle that just kind of keeps going and going. And so that's it. That's circles. Woo! That is a big one. And it was so much fun to make. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about the song? What did you think about the orchestration? I would love to hear from you. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and stay tuned. You can catch me anywhere on the internet. I'm on pretty much every social. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.